Caleb Martin with us now. Very excited to have him. Very exciting time in South Florida. Thank you for joining us. Congratulations. And thank you in general for doing the things that you did that made South Florida fear a little less that Boston was going to spend the entire summer laughing at Miami. Can you tell us, Caleb, in the last few hours, have you heard from anybody that has moved you, that has made you a little bit emotional? Because this has got to be a pretty special time for you.
Yeah, I've had a lot of people reach out, show a lot of love, and but, obviously, my mom and my family, and Cole. Obviously, Cole called me right after the game. Everybody knows the story about Cole pretty much now, but Cole called me and we were talking after the game, and he was just so hyped, jumping up and down. I had a lot of my people, a lot of people in my circle call and hit me up, man. So it's been an amazing time.
A lot of people do know the story, but is it legitimately 100% so that there's no way that you're on the Heat if not for J.Cole? Like, is that overstated?
I don't think so. I think that honestly, I think the chances of me being here without him making the phone call and getting in touch with Karan, it'd be pretty slim to none. I feel like I definitely probably wouldn't be here for sure.
Which was the rejection in your journey that hurt the most when you think of the teams or the tryouts to get here?
Definitely probably getting waived by the Hornets. That was my first. That was like, not getting drafted. I could prepare for that, and I kind of been prepared for that. And you kind of get an idea whenever you're going through that process. But I think that definitely get waived by the Hornets was definitely probably the biggest slap in the face.
And if I come to you on that day and say, what does the best of your possible future look like from here on a day that might have had some doubt in it, what are you saying to me?
Man, at that point, I had no idea, man. I just honestly at that point I couldn't. That was my first time experiencing that in the league, so I just had no idea how it went after that. I'm thinking automatically like I'm going overseas, so I'm like, it was crazy to me. I definitely thought that was if I had a chance to go to the NBA, it would be through maybe an exhibit 10 or 2 again, and I was trying to do it again. Couldn't.
Forgive me, your sound just kind of cut out there, and we sort of lost you when you said I was thinking that I was going to have to go overseas to make a living professionally. You were saying after that?
Yeah. After that, I was just saying like basically my chances of making it to the league and sticking it to the league felt like it was slim to none. It was going to have to really take a team to, kind of see something in me to give me the opportunity again.
So what did you imagine? Did you imagine, like, I'm going to have to play where when you're thinking overseas? Like when you're doubting about, you're thinking that the dream might be done or that you'll get back to the NBA through overseas?
Yeah. I mean, the goal is always the NBA. I was definitely, even if I had to go overseas, I was definitely going to try to definitely make my way back to the NBA, kind of like PJ Tucker did. So I knew it was I knew there was a chance to do it, but I just know it was really, really hard. And I definitely didn't want to take that step to go overseas until I knew the league, the dream of the league was done. And, I just knew that, like, maybe if I just got into a gym or a workout or a scrimmage or something with the NBA team, I could show them that, that I definitely have something I can contribute.
Caleb, a lot of people talk about the Heat, their organization, the culture, but they don't know exactly what it is they're talking about. So can you explain the difference between your experience with the Heat and, let's say, the Hornets?
It's definitely just like people say, the culture, the vibe, how you work and how the people are. I mean, I know people within the Heat organization have been together for a long time. Can't say that for every organization because there's moving pieces all the time. People take other jobs or whatever it is. People get fired, whatever it is. But here they keep it really in-house, so it almost feels like a college feel to where they've been together for a long time. They look out for one another, and just the way they work, they're coming from a winning background. So they just know how and what it takes to kind of get to this point where we're at now. So you definitely feel that vibe and that energy as soon as you come in.
In Game 5, You look to have hyperextended your knee. It looked super painful. I didn't think that you'd bounce back from that just from the angle that we got on television. How much pain were you dealing with throughout the remainder of that series? Are you good now?
I'm good now. Honestly, it definitely tweaked it for a little bit, and it was sore for a little bit. But at that point, I was gonna play. I was gonna play as long as I could walk or as long as I could run. I was gonna play. It didn't matter. So I was just, I know a lot of people at this stage of this, late in the postseason, they're gonna play through everything. So I just wanted an opportunity to kind of get to this moment where we're at now, and I just knew that if I was going to be able to get there, we were going to have to play through some injuries. So it's not too bad now. We've been doing some treatment. I'm in good shape now.
You can only give me one name as an answer to this question. Who was the most pissed off after Game 6?
Probably OG. Probably OG. OG, he was, he played 48 minutes that night. He gave everything he had. Like, that's how OG feels, man. Like, anytime you lose, he really feels that, whether he's playing a minute or not. He's ready to rip down the whole arena when we lose, especially a game like that. That really stings for him. So he was ready for Game 7.
What does that mean, though? Explain. What does that look like?
Man, he's a lot of a lot of walls being punched, a lot of stuff, a lot of damage to some of his own things, some of his own property. But he's just you're kind of one of them guys, you just gotta let him go do what he does, man, because you definitely don't want to get in the way of that. And but that's just him, man. That just shows you he just cares so much. I love that.
Have you had a confrontation that we can better understand the conflict where the Heat resides? They don't mind confrontation. There's growth in confrontation. Have you had something like that with Jimmy?
Yeah, we've had some brotherly confrontation for sure. All the way leading back to when I first got here, when I was on my tour. A lot of people don't even that's just you get into it with a lot of people. I get into it with Kyle, I get into it with Bam, I get into it with Tyler, I get into it with everybody, just because everybody's competitors, man, and the background everybody comes from is just so natural. Whenever you have that type of connection, you just start. That's what happens. You fight with your brothers all the time. I got into it with Kyle the other day. I'm looking right after the game. That's my brother. So
you got into it with who after the game? I'm sorry, you broke up there.
During the game, it was just I got into it with Kyle. I get into it with Jimmy and stuff, but it's not like get into it like you ready to fight or anything like that. It's just more like you just trying to stay on each other's ass just to make sure we on the in the right spot to be able to win. So it's all just it's all at a good look.
I want you to pick from among these numbers which make you proudest. You can only pick one set of numbers. You averaged in that series 19.3 points a game. That's 10 points more than your season average. 6.4 rebounds, 1.7 assists, 60% shooting, 60.2% shooting, 48.9% from three. Which of those numbers to you is the one that you like the best?
I like the 48. I like the 48 from three. So, man, we keep knocking down threes, and I keep, shooting with confidence. And, man, it's just it's tough to guard whenever you got guys shooting with confidence like that.
Caleb, you don't really show a lot of emotion on the court. I've never really seen emotion burst out of you the way that I did in that Game 7. Is that the most in the zone you've ever felt as a professional? Because it means a lot because we've seen Jimmy feel it, and in those moments where you were feeling it, Jimmy was deferring to you. And that was pretty wild to see.
Yeah, it just shows you, man, he's got a lot of trust. Like, he knows the work I put in, and I'm a hustle guy. I do what I gotta do, kind of, that plug and play type of guy. But I got a lot I can do, and but that's the NBA. That's being on a team. That's playing a role. You figure out your niche and you figure out how to stick. It's not about trying to be that guy. It's about just trying to figure out how to stick and give the team what they need. And everybody's capable of more. Every guy on every team and every role who's not the man is capable of more. It's just whenever you get those opportunities, you got to be ready for them. So I just made sure I was ready. I just made sure I tried to stay ready throughout the process, always since the first moment I got here. And I knew eventually a moment like that would come, and I was just going to make sure I was ready for that.
What one shot felt best to you? Because I would say that that's not the shot you want. Caleb Martin against Giannis, slapping his hand away in that situation. Even if it's a corner three, not the matchup I want. No disrespect. I just that seems like not a great idea in that situation. What is the shot that felt best to you?
Just throughout the whole playoffs, or just this series?
No, the whole thing.
The whole thing. Definitely that one. Definitely the shot on Giannis. I felt like I was back in college. I had the same exact shot going to go to the Sweet 16 when we beat Cincinnati when I was at Nevada. But it was just on the right corner in front of Cincinnati's bench, or maybe no, our bench. But I had the same one. I slapped his hand away. It was my old teammate, Kyle Washington, I played with against at NC State. I slapped his hand away the same way. I jabbed, slapped his hand away, and I shot it. So I mean, I knew as soon as I got it and I jabbed, I was going to shoot it. So, definitely not the shot you probably want at that time, especially because it was alone too. But, I feel like I had a good idea I was going to go in.
Caleb, we have about 30 seconds here. If I showed you a standard stock photo of Nikola Jokic and I said to you, that's the best basketball player in the world, would you believe me?
No chance.
Thank you.
No chance, man. No chance. That's crazy. He's nice. No chance.
We have more than 30 seconds. He lies to you. He can't help.
Sorry.
He can't help himself on that front. Are you aware that you had 135 points on 88 shots and Jaylen Brown had 133 points on 134 shots in that series?
No, I had no idea. I was just hooping, and I don't really, I'll wait to look at the numbers, I guess, until after the series and stuff like that is open. But no, I didn't know the logistics of the numbers and nothing like that. But I was trying to go play and play confident, man. So I just, whatever came with it was just trying to play well. That's all.
So are you surprised at all that you had more threes in the series than both Tatum and Brown?
I mean, considering how, that does surprise me a little bit just because how well they can score the ball. And, they're two of the best scorers in the league. And, I just, credit to our defense and stuff to make it tough on them and try to take that aspect of their game away. We just knew if they got rhythm especially from the 3-point line, it was going to be long nights. So we just tried to do everything we could to make it tough on them, and I think we did a pretty good job of that.
Once Tatum was injured, was the entire game plan to send Jaylen Brown to his left?
I think that was always the game plan.
Always the game plan. It didn't. Dan likes to do this thing where he's putting everything on Jason Tatum's injury, not knowing exactly how hurt your entire team was.
No, but wait a minute.
Tatum was out there.
Like this thing
that was gratuitous. You don't think they wanted to send Jaylen Brown to his left prior to?
But wait a minute. You say this thing I like to do. I mean, it does matter. It doesn't diminish their victory
You're talking about a dude that became the best wing on the court after he hyperextended his knee.
It doesn't diminish their victory
It does. It does. When you gratuitously add Jason Tatum turned his ankle. Come out there, man. You didn't hurt it that bad if he's not getting treatment constantly in between. Get out of here with that. And also, Caleb, you being on the show allows me yet a third opportunity now to apologize directly to the face of a Miami Heat player because during this season, I got to tell you, I was out to sea. I lost all hope. This was a really difficult season when you compare it to the number 1 seed of last year. Were you like me? Did you lose hope sometimes? Do you understand why I lost hope? Basically, accept my apology. I'm sorry, Caleb Martin, for doubting you guys.
I appreciate you. No, I understand why you would. I never lost hope. We always knew. I think that was why it was the most frustrating because we knew what we had. We knew what we were capable of, and we knew we just knew what we could do, but we just weren't doing it. And we just weren't getting it done the way we were supposed to. And so, no, I never lost hope. It was just frustrating at times just because I knew we were capable of so much more. But, but to go back to the injuries, we had a ton of injuries. We have one All-NBA guy, Vic, who was out. We had 20-point scorer and Tyler, 6th man of the year, who was out. Everybody at this point in the season dealing with injuries. And, when you're out there playing, nobody cares if you hurt or not.
Last thing, the Heat shot 45% or better from three 8 times all season. They did it 4 times against Boston. They did it 2 times against the Bucks.
When it matters.
The inspirational video that people are talking about, I'd like some details. Was it just media members saying that you guys didn't have any chance? Because I feel like that's what the inspirational video would be, the 15-minute inspirational video. What was in there?
Which one?
The one that was being credited that Spo didn't want to talk about after the game.
No, it was a video on a group of guys, like they put this team together to roll across the Atlantic, and there was different factors that kind of played that really related to our team, with guys going down or maybe having a little bit of doubt just because of how tough it is, or how so we just had a lot of relatable things that related back from the video to our team. Especially now, we watched it in the Bahamas for training camp earlier this summer, and then we end up watching it again full circle. And after everything we went through this season that people don't know the heck for, it really shed a lot of light on the things that they were going through and we were going through. So it was a good video. It was a good video.
But was it like a real rowboat, or like one of those boats that has like a giant room on it and probably like one of those little engines, and then they take breaks? And like, we've had one of those guys on before.
Luxury
and I'm telling
rowboat.
you, geez, nicer than my house. Some of those boats.
Yeah, it was like a smaller boat. It kind of had like a little small
Yeah. Yeah.
The roll call, I don't know. It was crazy.
I'm glad it worked for you guys, but I'm not buying it.
Caleb, thank you for being on with us. We appreciate it. Congratulations, sir.
Appreciate y'all. Thank you for having me.
All right, man.
Thank you, Caleb.